Right. Hello. Hello, stream. You should be able to hear me. Welcome to our next run. This is Metal Gear Solid, a PC version, a PC port, being run by DanSpence and commentated by Apache Smash. While we were away, actually, during the previous run, we had some donations, so I'll just quickly read them out. We had a £5 donation from Des, the comment llama 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 llama, thank you Des, and a £10 donation from Distributive, saying reject speedrun, return to llama. So, in reference to the previous Shadow of the Tomb Raider run, where Zelda got to pet a llama. So thank you for those donations. And now I'm going to hand it off to Dan and Apache. So if you could introduce yourselves.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's DanSpence94. You might have saw my run last night for Devil May Cry. We're back with something a bit different. We're going for Metal Gear Solid All Bosses. On comms with me today, I've got Apache Smash. Apache.
Thanks very much for having me, Dan. I'm Apache Smash. I run Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3. I've been doing it a long time. So I'm glad to be here.
So it's great that Apache's here with me today, because a couple of the parts of the run I'm just going to have to focus here and there on boss fights and whatnot. So Apache can give a bit more of an insight on what we're actually going to be doing and some of the tricks that we'll be using to completely break apart this version of the game. Like was said before, this is the PC port, which I've been told this morning was made by 5 people. So this is why it's so broken. So without further ado, it is on normal mode. A lot of runners will do it on very easy or easy, but I like to always run on the difficulty I'd play it casually on. So I'm going to give a countdown from 5, and then we'll jump straight into the run. So 5,
Cool.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, mate.
And everything will be crossed that this game does not crash on me. So first things first, we're in the docks here now. What we have to do here is we're going to be farming alerts, and this is going to help us literally at end game.
Yeah, so for the longest time in this game, our runs used to be beholden to something called the rat RNG. So when you reach the later stage in the game, for people who've played it before, you have to get a key, which has been taken by a rat. And the rat can be in all kinds of different places, and you have to literally go and search for him, kill the rat, and then get the PAL card. But a runner called D-Limes went and tested, because if you have over a certain amount of alerts when you get to that part, the PAL key is put randomly in the drainage ditch. Instead of having to look for the rat, you just have to visit these various spots where it will drop. And when Limes went and tested all this, he found that in 90% of cases, visiting all the positions of the PAL key would be faster than most rat positions, and half of them would be faster than the absolute best rat position. So he took a huge part of RNG out of the run and made the variance like so much lower. It was such a huge discovery. And yeah, that's how we get the key from now. So this is one of the easiest places to farm alerts in the run. We're literally stuck in this dock for 2:20, I think it is. Mm-hmm. So we have time to farm up as many as possible, and the easiest way to do that is, as Dan is showing now, just bait this guard round the crates and then throw him and run off.
I always have a little thought in my head that Snake's running off going hee every time he throws him.
Yeah, he definitely is.
I could probably get one more. So you guys can't see it, but currently I have my live splits open, not for timing, but we can use something called ASL VAR viewer within live split, and that keeps track of like game information. So right now I can see how many alerts I've got and how long the elevator actually takes to come down. Really useful information. We just basically use that with the auto splitter, if anyone's familiar with how live split works. I'm going to give him a little love tap just to get that extra alert there. So we've currently got 8 alerts. We want 10 or more. So we're going to get a few on the way. So I think we're pretty much set up now to get 10 alerts before the aforementioned place that Apache's talking about near the end of the game.
Yeah, I assume in all bosses you have quite a few extra places where you can pick them up if it is actually a problem.
As long as it's not in a nuclear hangar, we're alright.
Yeah.
Now, another great feature about the PC version is, let me just get past this part and then I'll explain. So on the PC version, because I'm currently playing with a controller at the moment, but because you also have a keyboard in as well, the devs, all 5 of those devs, thought it'd be a great idea. They've hotkeyed all of our weapons. So basically, you saw me pick up the chaff grenades there. I didn't have to go into the menu to equip them. I just pressed the number 9 and they automatically be equipped. Now, the reason we do that is because Snake runs 10% faster with 1 of 4 weapons equipped. So it's any grenade, the SOCOM, and the C4, I want to say, Apache?
Yes, any held weapon which he can still move with, so not the sniper rifle, but as long as it's a held weapon, he will move faster. And we have tested this so in depth that we know that the C4 is slightly slower by 1 frame every 5 seconds.
Yeah, when it comes to testing this game, us and the guys, they've really tested it.
Yeah, we've been running this one a while, and as Dan mentioned, it is a port made by 5 people, and one of the things they did, because Konami didn't give them much, when they wanted to put the soundtrack on the game, oh, that's a big rip. When they wanted to put the soundtrack on the game, they didn't have it from Konami, so they just bought it on CD and then just ripped it onto the game.
God, you gotta love Konami, right, guys?
I mean, this is, if you look at it objectively with what happened, it's a good PC port and it's a bad PC port.
Oh my god. Okay. That's a rip.
Sometimes you just gotta accept it when you get caught there and take the death.
Yeah.
Because it's such an awkward room to get away from those guards. Like, they can see you from pretty far away and it's a big open room.
I can't imagine how, when it comes to people who run this on extreme, I can't fathom how hard some of these rooms are, because their field of vision are just pretty much double that what I'm on right now. So if I'm having trouble on normal, then God.
I think it's fair to say that like Metal Gear Solid 1 is a pretty hard game casually. I mean, even like the first time you play it on easy, just because of the way the alert system just spawns guards in on you, it's quite difficult. I think the difficulties were more fairly set in later games.
Yeah, very true. I think when it comes to like MGS2, there's not really much difference between easy and normal, bar a couple of gameplay mechanics. Like the alerts carry over from room to room is a big one that I know.
It just goes up more smoother through the difficulties, whereas this, I feel like it starts quite hard, and yeah, extreme's ridiculous in this game as well.
Yeah. For all the sadists out there who do this on extreme, looking at you, Delams.
There's been a big culture change within Metal Gear speedrunning. When I first joined 2 years ago, it was very much like if you didn't run the game on the hardest difficulty, well, no, everyone was like, "What are you doing? We only play on extreme." Nowadays, people can join, on the lowest difficulty, and every single difficulty has been routed, and they all play differently, and there's different things that you have to be focused on. So it's a much smoother experience. It's a better jumping off point to not start on extreme.
Alright, so we're actually on our first boss fight here, and it doesn't technically look like a boss fight because we don't have a boss bar. But we're going to get a couple of waves of guards coming in 3 at a time. We want to take each of them out as close to the door as possible. So I'm going to stand literally right next to it. Thank you, Meryl. Spoiler alert, that is Meryl.
Yeah, every time you're knocking out or killing these guards, they're going to drop SOCOM ammo. There's no non-lethal variant in Metal Gear Solid, so these are some of like the required guard deaths in the game, no matter what version you're on, or even if you're going for highest rank, you will have to kill these guards. We're just standing by the door here to avoid some grenades.
That's it, yeah. So that's basically guard encounter over and done with. So that's technically our first boss, as it all intents and purposes. And now we are going to go into the basement even further. We're going to get a couple of things on the way. We're going to get some C4 to blow up a room. If you get stuck on a lot of parts on these, you can start ringing... Oh dear, no.
And side effect of the...
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I was going to say side effect of the PC.
Everyone calm down. Yeah, a side effect of this being on PC and how broken it actually is that it can crash at any time. The amount of times I've got into the nuclear hangar skipping codec scenes and it then just automatically crashes on me. It's fun times.
That's not like Dan's copy either. That's just for everyone who runs this on PC is at the mercy of the occasional crash. Usually when you're on a good run, right? Like that's when it'll.
I think the first time it happened, I was on like probably like minus 2.5 minutes. It was a bad experience.
So for big famous boss of Metal Gear Solid 1, it's Revolver Ocelot. We can't go anywhere in the center of the room because there's Baker who is strapped to some explosives, and if we touch those explosives, he will just instantly die, and the room blows up.
So I'm having really bad trouble here because for some reason, sometimes when you get subtitles on screen, the frame rate drops in half. So it's made me kind of lag behind Ocelot, so I can't really chase after him. So what we would normally do is fire at him, hit him a couple of times, and we can basically stick him in a bit of a loop as he tries to run away from us.
Yeah, he'll just turn to shoot us, and we will just move basically out of the bullets. And then have a chance to shoot him again.
There we go. We managed to get it right at the end there, but I just shot him once more just for good measure. That's a fun fact on that boss fight, is that once he is technically dead, you can still fire at him a couple of times and he'll just start screaming. So if you have a full clip, feel free to unload.
It's also, you sometimes want to drop your ammo lower so the bullets will spawn so you can pick them up. Like, when you get to that threshold, you can shoot off 2 bullets and then pick up a full ammo pack.
Okay, so we're grabbing some grenades here, and then we're just going to make our way out of this basement. Apparently I'm going to get spotted again. This is all part of the plan, I'm telling you.
What he's doing there is a quick throw, so if you begin throwing the guard and then equip a weapon, you cancel the end lag of the throw. So we do that a lot, quick throws. And when you do a quick throw, if you stand too close to the guard as you begin to throw him, he actually physically sees you while you're being thrown. Very, very common thing in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah. The amount of times I've done a throw and he's seen me, it's like, oh great, okay, so this is how we're doing things then. But we need the alerts for endgame RNG, so right now I'm happy with how we're getting on.
Yeah, so this is any percent, not to be confused with glitchless. Some people think that all bosses is glitchless, but we do have a few glitches we use, a few minor, but this is the biggest one. This skips the laser room, but it most importantly skips a really long codec with Merrill. Codecs aren't too much of an issue in PC, but on the console version, you would have to physically press X for every single screen. On the PC, fortunately, added a way to instantly get out of them by pressing escape, which was one of the best features added to this game, in my opinion. And now we're going to fight a big tank, which is another boss. So we throw the chaff grenade, which makes it harder for the tank to hit you. It'll also leave him stuck in this position over here. And now we're going to try and dunk grenades inside of the gunner's hole. So 2 grenades.
There we go. So there's one. That hopefully should, yeah, so we got that in. 2 grenades. GG's.
Very, very nice. It's not easy to do that, and you notice Dan went into first-person view. That's kind of a setup to sort of guarantee your second grenade will go in, but honestly, that's not easy to do at all. And this is the famous nuke building that Dan messaged a little bit, mentioned a little bit earlier. If we get seen in here, we are 100% dead. No matter what difficulty you play on, if you get seen in here, the room fills with gas, and you're also told that you can't use your weapons in here. Dan's doing something called skating there, where he equips and unequips his weapon over a floor that's noisy. It completely silences your footsteps on noisy floors. Very handy. We call it skating because it kind of looks like Snake is ice skating on one foot when he does it. I'm sure we'll get plenty of opportunity to see that in later stages of the game as well.
Oh yeah. The Rex tanker is a big one for skating. I really wish on the PC port, considering it came out after the base game, is that they fixed the whole having to equip the card to get through a door, like MGS2 did. As long as you have the card on you, then the door should just open. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. And sorry, you have to wait until Twin Snakes for that one.
You know, I've actually never played Twin Snakes. I need to go and actually play it.
It's good.
Interesting.
No, it's a great speedrun. Fantastic speedrun. So yeah, we picked up a remote-controlled missile here, the Nikita. We're now going to shoot out the control panel, which is operating this electric floor. We're going to go past a few gun cameras on the way to it, so we have to be careful of those. The gun camera can physically shoot your remote-controlled missile out if you go in the wrong place, basically. And that'll allow us to get into what is probably one of the more memorable fights for everyone of MGS1, which is the Cyborg Ninja.
AKA Grey Fox. Spoiler alerts if anyone's ever played Metal Gear 1 or 2.
Dan also picked up a FAMAS assault rifle as well, which all the guards in this game use, despite it being an incredibly rare and not very well manufactured rifle, but they all have them here.
There's those frame rate drops I was mentioning earlier. I don't know why it is. I think it might be the way I did the install, but yeah, every time subtitles come on screen, then the frame rate just dies. And that's just an unfortunate side effect of this port, I would say.
You think it's a bug? No, it's a feature.
Make me feel it. Make me feel
So this is a very interesting boss. Apache, I'll let you do comms on this whilst I punch this metal man in the face.
So this is the ninja. Now we don't. If you've got weapons equipped during this fight, it will make the ninja do various things. But most of the time, we're going to be baiting the ninja into attacking us, and then moving, and then having an opportunity to hit him. There's also a section where he will run away, and we'll have to physically go and find him as well. But Dan's doing the really scary method where he's just going to go run up and kick him. He knows that the ninja is going to run away, and also his attack ray jumps above you and lands on you as well, and you just get out of that circle and you don't get hurt by him. The key is to go just outside the circle so you can instantly get back in it and be able to hit the ninja. Around the room as well, there's bullets, so we can pick those up during the fight. It's good to be really effective with your ammo over this game and minimize the amount of time you're going to spend getting pickups. So the ninja will hide at this point. That's the best position for him to go to. And he's actually much more invisible on the console version than the PC version. His stealth camo is way better. And Dan just using the first-person view. In this game, you can move in the first-person view as well. Took a huge kick off the ninja there, though. But the ninja wants you to fight him in hand-to-hand combat, so if you do equip a weapon here, he will do different things as well.
I wonder how long it actually took people to figure out that you have to fight him hand-to-hand and not just fire at him. Because he gets really disappointed at you if you shoot at him.
Yeah, he is dropping a hint or two. But a couple of cool things about this room is, one, there's a Police Noughts poster on the wall, which is another game made by Hideo Kojima. And there's also a PlayStation 1 on the desk, and it's the developer version of the PlayStation 1. And then later in the Twin Snakes, they had they have a GameCube console there, which I think is pretty cool as well. There's absolutely tons of just little minor cool details like that in these games.
Seeing this drop to half FPS hurts. It hurts my chest.
So this is the part where the ninja will bait Snake to come over to him, and as soon as you get there, he will do an instant translocation like Goku, and then you'll just move and punch him again. Stan's got some real Super Saiyan skills there. And now he goes a little bit crazy, does his electric attack.
Oh, I'm too close.
All the attacks that the ninja has, you can actually use them in the VR missions. There are 3 stages where you can play as the ninja, and you can do like all these iconic moves from the fight as well. Which is weird that they made that playable for literally just 3 VR stages. It's like, why go to all that effort for 3 stages?
Something's a disguise.
I'm being very careful when I'm skipping these cutscenes, because if this crashes now, when we're this quarter of the way through, I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, this is a notorious section for crashes as well. When you defeat bosses, your health goes up, and you're able to equip more items. You actually physically rank up, which I always like to mention that Metal Gear Solid 1 is an RPG. It does have levels.
Yeah, it works off the ranking system, is it, from Metal Gear 2, I want to say, back on the MSX. It was the same thing there. When you beat bosses, you get extra life, you can carry more ammo, you can use more items and whatnot.
Yeah. The added health is always nice, getting extra health when you beat a boss.
Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over into this corner. What we have to do is we've got to find Meryl. So I'm going to fire a warning shot there, basically, and that just gets Meryl to come over to where we are. We're going to do something I don't recommend you do at home and follow her into the ladies' bathroom. Yeah.
Where's she gone?
It was a bit weird back then, wasn't it?
Okay, let's go.
It's an odd interaction, but yeah. We have found her. She's got a cool sailor tattoo as well. And I love this bit where she goes, I'll show you where to go, don't worry. And then it's literally just like 5 meters down the room and the corridor.
Outside the door.
Listen, I know this place really well. It's here.
So, this is going to be interesting. So, for those who have played this on the PlayStation, you'll remember the Psycho Mantis fight as you have to put the controller into controller port 2. On PC, we're not allowed to do that.
Come on, Mr. Foxhound.
So, we have to... There is a way, I think DeLimes has made a, controller patch, but I can't get it to work because I'm silly. But for this fight, we're going to basically have to use our keyboard as our second controller. So I'm going to have to aim with the controller in my hands and use my keyboard to fire. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah, one of the things they did really well, I feel, is making this game completely playable on the keyboard, which the later PC ports did not do. Metal Gear Solid 2 is not playable at all on keyboard and mouse. So the gimmick here, as Dan said, is you cannot use a controller for this section, otherwise the game will do what port 1 does on the console. So you have to do all this fight with the keyboard, which is not easy at all. And yeah, there do exist ways to kind of get around that game mechanic and still do this fight on the controller, which is recommended. It isn't easy to do this fight on the keyboard whatsoever. This game does have forced 8-way movement as well, so even if you have an analog stick on your controller, you can only move in 8 directions.
Okay, so we're getting his health down to a certain point, and then what I'm going to do is, even though we're not technically allowed to use grenades in this fight, I'm going to do it to make his health drop to a certain point. So once he comes back over here...
Yeah, this fight has HP thresholds, and using a grenade will allow you to essentially skip one of the thresholds. Good ammo pickups as well during the fight. Can't go low on them.
I mean, I have done runs where I have literally punched Mantis to death after a while.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes.
Stop! Meryl!
I also don't recommend throwing your significant other if they're trying to commit suicide like that. Even if they are under control of a terrorist who can, mind control people.
Yeah, possessed by a terrorist who can float and is wearing a gas mask and can read your mind. But if you are being attacked by someone who's possessed and can read your mind, just change your controller into port 2 and then he won't be able to. Because the memory card's not in that slot. I think it's a really memorable fight.
Yeah.
For every single person who ever played this game, I think it always comes down to things like the Mantis fight. And there is a section where he'll tell you to put the controller on the floor. If the fight goes on long enough, you put the controller on the floor and he'll make the analog turn on, and he's like, "Oh, I'm possessing your controller."
So yeah, so there's Mantis over and out. thankfully. That can be one of the most tricky fights when it comes to this run. In any percent, we basically just completely skip that fight. That fight turns into the fight with the bookshelf that we just literally walk through, because technically we've already been and finished that fight, so the only trigger we get there is the rank up trigger. Once we go back into the room that basically says you've killed Mantis and now we're on our way. And also, please be nice, doggo.
Yeah, all bosses, obviously, you have to fight every single boss legitimately. Any percent skips 7 out of 10 bosses. The first boss fight you actually do is Vulcan Raven. And these dogs are absolutely ruthless. They don't care that we're trying to go fast.
Yeah, one of them got a little, he got a little backhander there. We don't condone violence to animals unless we're doing a speedrun.
It's only okay in a speedrun. That's what I've heard.
I thought you were good with dogs.
Now we're just gonna get like taken a mick out of by Meryl because apparently we're good with dogs. Now this is a very interesting part here.
This place is mine.
So as Meryl says, the place is mine with claymore mines. And of course, we can't use the mine detector because our radar's off. She's going to basically map out a path for us.
Yeah, be sure to watch exactly where she goes here, because we're going to need this to get past the mines.
It's a very specific route of movement that we have to go. As you can see, it's basically like left, up, right, down, right, up, left.
Got it, I'm ready.
I don't think you are ready, Apache, because...
No, I'm ready. I think I can remember these steps exactly. Yeah.
Luckily, the footsteps do stick around.
So, what do you think? Pretty good, huh?
How did you know where the mines were?
It sounds weird, but when Mantis dove into my mind, I was able to see where the mines were placed.
It's just brilliant.
Are you
I love
impressed?
this so much. So, after all of this chat, all of this effort, we're just going to run straight up. And it gets us past all of the claymores without any issue.
Meryl.
So this boss is a sniper wolf, or what we call. You didn't remember where the mines were, Dan.
I didn't remember where the mines were.
This fight is Wolf 1. Before we can even fight Wolf 1, we have to go get a sniper rifle. And you can call on the codex, and you can ask everyone, do you know where I can get a PSG-1 sniper rifle? And they tell you that there's probably one in the armory. So we're gonna have to head back to the armory, which was the room where we picked up the C4 earlier and blew up the walls. So it's a little bit of a walk, and obviously we have to go through that nuke building a couple of times, where if we get seen, we will get immediately killed as well.
So this is actually, because we're just going to be backtracking basically to the first area, so if there have been any other donations or anything like that, now is a perfect time for it. I shall assume not. So yeah, this is the dreaded nuke building.
It's not fun to get caught in here because you have to wait for the doors close and the room gets filled with gas, and then you have to just sit and wait for your entire oxygen bar to deplete, and then all of your health as well. You can, sort of like juke the guards, and if the alert comes off, the gas will go. But it's generally better just to die and reset the room.
I was about to say, I can never remember where all the mines are on this part for some reason. I know there is a line we can take that's safe. That line does not want to play nice. Speaking of.
Yes, this is a room where they're so deadly as well, hitting claymores. Like, depending on where you hit the claymore, you take more and less damage from them. So, like, you saw, like, an actual range of different hits of the claymore mines you can get there.
I'm just gonna have to play it safe and crawl all my way very sheepishly back into the.
You were so brazen at the start. You were like, hey, I'm just gonna run all the way. I don't care if I get hit. And then after like the fourth one, you're like, oh, okay, no, I'm gonna crawl. You win, minefield.
Like 1 we can deal with. 4 is a bit of a Mickey take. Yeah,
the way that this room works, basically is like while you're in alert, guards will just keep coming to you over and over again. So if you like stand there and shoot them or take them out or whatever, you're just going to repeatedly get them over and over again. So it's can be better to hide. Sometimes it can be faster to like reload a room.
Nope. I'm gonna have to take the death again.
Just go south and reload the room.
I put GME on by accident.
You can reload the room in the south by running into a revolver ocelot's door.
Oh, you're right there. Yeah. I'm glad someone knows what they're doing because clearly I don't.
Good. And then once you get an alert, you're like, oh no, what now? But what Dan said there was like, he said they have activated GME. GME stands for God Mode Exploit. We can only do it once we have the PSG1. So when they made the game's controls, they added the ability to be able to equip the sniper rifle from a keyboard key. When you equip the sniper rifle, you go into the prone position and you look into the scope. But if you immediately like cancel that animation by selecting another weapon, the game thinks that you're in the prone position and not as you are running around. So it makes you completely untargetable but unhittable by enemies. And also there's another form of it where you can move through cutscene triggers and avoid them completely as well. Now, we have to be careful when we're doing that because if you move into past a cutscene trigger that you're not supposed to in what's called GME2, it will completely soft lock the game, and there's quite a few of them in the run where you have to be careful.
Another thing to note is when we are using GME, we have to go into first person mode, otherwise we can't use our inventories or basically interact with anything. Not quite sure as to why that's the case, we have to go into first person, but I think it's something to do with the actual animation of going into the PSG1, because when we are using the PSG1 we are in first person. So I would assume it's got something to do with basically like doing half of the animation, so it lets us, you know, do a couple of other actions there. I am going to have to get some rations, I think, and reload this room. Just so it's a little bit of a
the reason is
option there.
Once you open a room, the guards begin from their starting position and begin their patterns. So if we're late into a room or do something different, what you'll often see across all the Metal Gear games is we'll leave the room and come back in, which sends the guards back into their starting positions, just so we like know where they are. Now, Dan obviously said, you know, he's completely invincible while in God Mode Exploit, but if he gets an alert in this room, it will still fill with gas, and he won't be able to progress. So he doesn't want to just run through and get an alert. He still has to do the room, you know, basically the same as you always would. But yeah, added some keyboard support, but inadvertently allowed you to go God mode at any time in a normal run. The God mode exploit isn't possible on the console. People have tried. Under the same circumstances, it should still happen, but there's no way to... It only happens because you can equip weapons without physically opening the menu. People have done all sorts to try and like buffer it or extend the animation, but there's no found way of doing it, and people really have tried. Maybe one day in the future someone will come across a way of doing it, but it's a PC exclusive for now.
So, as Apache said earlier, we're going to use GME to go basically out of bounds. So if we're in a crouch position whilst we do GME, the game thinks we're in a completely different plane of existence, so we can open a door and then basically go through that door because it thinks we're still on the other side. So we're going to run all the way here. Now this is the door to the Sniper Wolf boss fight, so I go prone and we're in the boss fight.
Yeah, so he just went, rather than going round past all the wolves, having to equip the scarf so he doesn't get bitten, he literally just... He just went out of bounds and hit the load zone from the other side. So again, like all bosses, does not equal glitchless. There is no true glitchless version. The closest you'll get is console all bosses, which just has one out of bounds to skip the laser fence. The laser room even. Sniper Wolf is a tough boss fight because she is inherently random. She can run left or right, and she can crouch down at various points on the rail. We don't we can basically glitch out the pentazamine. I can't speak fast enough. You're too fast, man. Way too fast. That was a really clean wolf
I actually,
fight.
I
Wolf
took
one, sorry.
that very safe there. I did go and get some pentazamine from the first floor of the communications building.
Nice.
But oh no, we've been captured. And despite shooting Wolf about eight times in the face, apparently she's unscathed. Now, this is one of the rare occasions where we technically can't skip a cutscene for some reason. But once it does get us to here... Oh, what is the incentive, by the way? Have we got the incentive up and running?
Yeah, I've just messaged for it as well.
I'll let the cutscene play out a little while whilst we'll wait for what the choice on the incentive was.
It doesn't matter.
I kept thinking it was any percent there, and I've got a little bit more time. But if anybody can find the incentive for
yeah, no, I've got it.
I've
got it. Yeah, Meryl has won with £60, and Articon has £31.18. So sorry, Articon fans. Sorry, Dan.
This is gonna hurt.
Fun fact about this torture, right? You can submit at any time and say that you give up, but if you fail the torture, it's just a game over, and you can't. You have to load a save. You can't like go back to this point from like a continue.
How did you like that?
And thank you for everyone who donated for that for special effect. Sorry, Dan.
My arm won't thank you, but.
As you go up on the difficulties, you get more and more rounds of torture. But normal's pretty long, and to save Meryl, we will have to do a few rounds of torture here.
Had enough yet?
I'm so glad that once the actual torture part of it is over, we can still recover our life, so we can get back to full. Look at that time bar, like.
With modern ideas on the games, turbo is actually legalized in Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3, so you can use turbo for those games, but you can't for Metal Gear Solid 1, so
yeah, if you use auto fire, your life will just drain and it won't actually let you press any buttons.
I believe it doesn't trigger in MGS1, but it will in the Twin Snakes, and you can trigger it without actually being as fast as the turbo controller. There was a runner called Tyler who accidentally triggered it without actually using turbo.
Oh, bless him. Yeah, Ocelot really doesn't like auto fire. I think Kojima doesn't like auto fire as well, which is why we have to be very careful when we're skipping cutscenes. If we just hold down the skip cutscene button, it will either try and force to play the codec call, or we'll just crash the game. Also, hello, Darpa Chief. We got a friend here.
Yeah, he's not doing so well. Someone should probably call for help. But yeah, he doesn't like auto fire, but I mean, this is the guy who wanted to put a controller that will electrocute you into Metal Gear Solid 4. So he's had some good ideas. He's had some suspicious ones.
Did he actually want to do that with the controller for 4?
Yeah, he wanted a controller in MGS4 that would electrocute you when you do like a boss fight. There is an article about it you can read on Google. It's like just search like Metal Gear Solid 4 controller that will electrocute you.
That's I got no words. I
think that was vetoed by the other game designers. But so yeah, you don't get electrocuted in 4 while you play, unfortunately.
So here's Johnny. Johnny is the best prison cell guard of all time. So he unfortunately has a cold because we're in Alaska. You don't actually find this out until what, MGS4? That he doesn't actually have nanomachines in him, whereas Snake and all the other guards do. So he's more susceptible to getting ill, and he can't really communicate as well with the other. Oh, I've got to do another one.
It's showtime.
Oh no.
Ocelot wants you.
I thought there was only the one.
Yeah, so 2, is it 2? I actually thought in my head I thought it was 3, but that might just be extreme. But yeah, we normally in the speedrun we don't instantly submit to this on the first frame. There's actually, if you're fast enough, there's a different camera angle of Ocelot, like if you submit fast enough. So we're just used to like going for that every single time, like mashing select. But yeah, we're surviving torture today. You're doing well on it, Dan. You're doing well.
It hurts already. I thought it was just the one. I shouldn't have put this incentive in, should I?
Go again?
But I mean, you can't have an MGS run without this incentive, though, can you? My hand slipped. Oh no.
Had enough yet? We're not finished.
Well, I can't
yet.
post a link to that article in the chat, but I will send it to Mayu. And I'll send it to Dan so he can read it afterwards.
I'm just glad that the controller doesn't vibrate either on this section. Can you imagine it trying to vibrate and mash circle at the same time?
Yeah, I'm awful at mashing. I have bad wrists, so I'm always grateful to submit to the torture.
Oh, I can skip that part, thank God. Shut up, Ocelot. Go away. Oh yeah, we get a nice little codec call there where it basically tells us to put the controller on our shoulder and they will inject painkillers via our nanomachines into our arm, by which it just basically vibrates the controller on our shoulder as like a massage type thing. Apparently that's meant to help with the torture sequence and, you know, mashing circle for 3-4 minutes at a time.
There's tons of little like fourth wall breaks like that, so it's cool the first time. I feel it's really cool the first time you see something like that. Here it comes. It's Ocelot. No, Ocelot. Archon.
I'd be worried if that was Ocelot.
It'd be devastated if it was Ocelot.
What a duke that would be, though. Like, oh, you think Ottocon's coming to save you? No, it's Ocelot.
Archon's going to help us out. He's given us a card to get out the main door, and he's also given us a bottle of ketchup in case we're hungry. Sadly, Dan spilt it on the floor here, but it may come in handy anyway.
Oh no, I am the dead.
If you ever need to break out a cell for any reason, there's a bottle of ketchup handy. Smear it all over the floor and then lie on it.
I equipped the one thing, but we got it. Also, rip, Johnny. We won't see you in Metal Gear Solid 4 after all. Also, I'm not really a big fan of ketchup, so I don't mind spilling a bit on the floor.
I don't eat it, and I don't like it that much that I wouldn't be able to handle. Good job remembering the bomb. I was going to remind you.
I was thinking then, I always forget which part, if we don't submit, or if we do submit, we get the bomb.
Yeah, if you save Merrill, you get a bomb, which is placed into your inventory. If you don't throw it out of your inventory, it will kill you.
Which is also a really good indication that you have actually saved Merrill, because I think even if you submit, like say round 3 or something like that, you don't get it. So if you know that you've got the bomb there, then you know you've made sure that you've done everything that you need to do. I'm gonna activate GME here because claymores are bad. Okay, we don't need a repeat occurrence of what happened earlier.
Yeah, no more claymores. The gun turrets will also see you and fire at you, but they can't actually hit you. Either that, or they've got stormtrooper aim, or Dan can dodge them like the Matrix. Whatever story you want to use there, whatever's good for you.
I prefer the whole, you know, Snake can go ultra instinct. I think that's what I settled with.
Yeah. And again, for the last time, we have to be super careful in here. Just throw the guard, get past these cameras. Obviously, if the cameras see you, it gives you an alert as well. Gas in this room equals bad.
I thought I had God mode elevator then as well, but apparently not.
Yeah, Dano is always double pressing the elevator button. We're always looking for something called fast elevator, which is where the elevator instantly opens. They're a lot more common in Metal Gear Solid 1 than they are in 2, for example. It's like 10% chance in 2. But in 1 and 2, we always press the button twice.
Alright, so we're going we're basically coming back to where we were when we got captured here. So we're going to use God Mode Exploit again to go out of bounds. Once the camera stops moving, that's my cue to basically change my direction. I can go first person and move to where the door is. Go to the other. We use the ration as a bit of a guide there. And then that gets us on the trigger. Same thing again. This helps us skip a couple of cutscenes here where Snake is very fondly remembering Meryl being shot about 20 odd times. So we use that just to get past that bit. And now we're coming to the ascent for the communications tower, everyone's favourite part.
Yeah, it's actually my favourite part of the PC run. I think it's awesome. We're going to use a grenade here to basically prevent us from going into a cutscene where we have to watch the guards running up behind us. Because we get the alert early, it actually just skips that. Now, climbing up the tower is very difficult. It's really hard. Dan's going to have to avoid all these guards. What he's going to do is run past them, and they're not going to be able to hit him.
Hi, boys. Bye, boys.
In the console version, obviously, it's not possible, so what we'll do is we'll try and stay as close to the stairs when we're gaining time, and when we're going close to the guards, we'll go to the wall, which makes them less likely to hit you, and we'll do a series of like quick throws, so we'll throw and then re-equip our item to cancel the animation. You can use stun grenades in here, but on the PC version, thankfully, the way they designed it, we don't actually have to do that. We can lob some guards if we're feeling like it. As far as I'm aware, the entire room isn't loaded like at the same time. Just as you go up every 2 staircases, it just loads you another 2. So that can have some weird interactions with the way the guards spawn in, because you'll only have like so many guards on screen at once.
And it does give you very plentiful amount of bullets as we're going up as well. So if you are having to run and fire, then there's probably a little risk of you running out of one of your weapons at this point. But you know you're coming to the end of the ascent once the camera angle shifts slightly. I'm going to see if I can get this for fun. I'm going to throw a grenade here, because I'm invincible, but they're not. So we're just going to take a bunch of guards out, just for the sake of doing it, to be honest. I saw that on a Delimes run once, I was like, I should try that.
I would be absolutely knackered after going up them stairs.
You would, wouldn't you? You'd be absolutely like your cardio is just your cardio game needs to be spot on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I went out of bounds there again just to skip a few cutscenes, and then automatically equip the rope. So as soon as we go into this part where we can control Snake again, we go prone automatically, and then we just basically uses the rope on its own. So welcome to the rappel section. It's a really interesting section. I love this section, to be honest.
Yeah, it's cool. It's totally different from everything else in the game. We did pick up a rope at the start of the tower. If you don't actually get that rope, it makes you go all the way back down and get it, which is pretty funny.
And then you would be knackered.
Yeah. So getting hit by the steam, we tried to avoid that as much as possible, and obviously getting hit by Liquid, who is in the helicopter. He does damage to us as well. So we're just trying to get down as fast as possible while taking minimal hits.
As you can tell, I've practiced this rappel section instinctively.
Yeah, it was decent. And the catwalk, again, we're going to go into God mode because we at this section we have the sniper. It's not like a forced section, so we can just avoid these guards completely.
Yeah, what you would normally do there casually is you would equip the PSG-1 to take out those guards, all 3 of them, and then you'd be able to basically go down the catwalk. But because we can go in basically invincible, we can just run straight past them and not have to worry about them.
Yeah, this game, it's weird because normally when guards hit you, they don't knock you back, apart from in that section on the catwalk. As you try to approach them, every time you get shot, you get knocked back, and by the time you stand up, you get shot again, so you just constantly get pushed back. They're the only guards in the game that do it, I believe. It's very strange.
I think that and Sniper Wolf 2 is the only times you get like basically thrown back because the game's trying to say, no, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, you need to find another way of getting past this. And unfortunately, we're not going to see the worm because I have to actually fight Sniper Wolf 2. So, no worm today.
Yeah, the worm is a way that we can manipulate Snake to go over the barrier in the Wolf 2 fight and just instantly in the fight. It's an any percent thing.
So the God mode exploit you see me doing here and there, basically, because you're interrupting the animation of going prone. We basically just keep interrupting it from where we're crouched to go prone to crouch to go prone, and it basically just can't. It literally it's the worm. It moves us along that threshold. We hit the trigger that says basically that the fight is finished, and then it finishes the fight for us.
Yeah, you can do it on console as well, but it's done in a slightly different way. Dan's moving here inside first person as well. That's a PC only thing. In the console version, you can go into first person, but you can't move around in it.
That's right, and it took me a while to figure out how to actually move in first person. You have to actually double tap the button, whereas on say like MGS2, you can just hold the button down and move. Well, you can't move in first person on MGS2, I don't believe, but it's got more of a better first person view, I'd say, than this one does. Okay. And
we are into the Hind fight. The Hind D is a helicopter. It's piloted by Liquid. He will fly around the map and taunt us in phase 1. What Dan's going to do is he's going to hit the Hind, and the Hind will get iframes. But what Dan will do is try and fire so the stinger will hit him just as his iframes are coming off, rather than wait until he can reacquire the lock on. It's a way of speeding up the fight a little bit, but it's a very difficult fight, and it's like, you know, part RNG, part skill, whether you're gonna get a really fast one. You can never have enough practice on this fight. Basically, it's a tricky one.
I've lost high PB attempts to this fight alone by like minutes, because like I've actually said, we're in a phased fight. So the first phase is relatively simple. He's just going to fly around. He's not really going to try and attack us. The second phase is a little bit of the same. He just gets a bit more aggressive in terms of trying to kill us. But then the third phase is where he can actually go underneath the building, and we have literally zero opportunities to get any kind of shots off on him.
Yeah, it kind of just does what he wants in the third phase. If he doesn't want you to PB, you're not getting a PB. Sorry.
So I just wasted a stinger missile there just so I could pick up the extra 5. We want to basically go out of this fight with a full stock from that little ammo refill that's knocking around there, because we're going to be using the stinger on the next boss fight as well. Otherwise, it can be a little bit slower, not too much slower, but we want as many stinger missiles basically as we can hold.
It's just way easier with stinger missiles as well. Not doing too bad on this one though. He's semi-behaving up to now.
Yeah, as long as he still plays nice, I think we're on for a good one.
Famous last words and all that.
Yeah, see, so he's actually dived under there. I don't think I can. No, I can't hit him from here. So he dives under the building like a little, like a big girl, because apparently he can't take being shot in the face with a rocket launcher.
I can't believe he's moving out of the way of these stinger missiles.
Oh, just take it like a man. There we go. So I'm gonna fire off the rest of these, just so I can have 5 going out of it. Ammo, please. Oh, it's on the other side. I see it. So he's
normally you'd have to.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, normally you have to hide from these from this rocket, but with God mode we're not really too bothered.
Yeah, with God mode we can just stand in the middle and say it with chest. And that's Liquid Snake dead. We're never going to see him again.
No, absolutely not. That's the end of Liquid Snake. He was never seen again.
Alright, so that was the Hind fight there. It was a bit scuffed, but you can get really quick fights there, as long as it basically plays nice and he doesn't go under the building too much. But you know, like we said, like it's very, very random. I don't know. Does he go under the building and ease it?
Yeah, but I believe it acts the same.
Yeah.
That he will just hide from you randomly like that.
I can't remember if when I started running this on easy and then switched to normal. If he actually, I don't think he actually went underneath the building when I played on easy. So I was curious if it was just like from normal upwards, it makes it a little bit harder for you because he can disappear essentially.
You might be right. I am any % for life.
Any % gang, stand up.
Yeah.
And you know, we always like our backtracking sections, don't we? So we're just going all the way back down all these stairs. So,
yeah, just at the end of the game, you just see Snake lying on the floor, wheezing.
So instead of going down the elevator, we're going to God mode exploit out through out of bounds here, and we're just going to literally drop in front of where this door is. Hit the trigger, and we're going to get into the Sniper Wolf 2 fight. I'm going to try and get this little, like, it only saves a second, but no, I can never get it. So if you quick equip a grenade there, you can shorten down that cutscene by literally, I think it's like a second or so. Now finding Sniper Wolf is the hardest part of this fight. Once we find her, we get the lock on. We have to make sure that she's stood still, otherwise she can, for some reason, she can literally outrun Stinger missiles.
Yes, of course. Stingers, of course, being anti-aircraft weapons, and people generally having the ability to move faster than those.
See there, so she started running after I'd fired the shot, so she managed to dodge that one. But we're getting pretty good positioning and everything right now. So there she is.
Yeah, Wolf 2 again. She can run left and right, and there's no set path. She can stop at various points. She can just run from one side to the other, and she can also hide behind trees along the way. So again, it's a huge RNG fight, but the Stinger does really help in speeding it up.
There we go.
As long as they hit, which they don't always. But yeah, it was a good fight.
That was actually well, not I'd say as close as perfect as I've ever had a Wolf 2 fight, to be honest.
And that barrier we went over just exists the entire fight, so in the any % run we can just hit that barrier straight away and the fight ends.
So we're in the final stretch here, really. If you're playing on the console version, you know this is where you switch to disc 2. So we go out of bounds just to basically skip this entire section here, go through the door and go prone. That triggers that the elevator is going to start coming up there, so I'm just going to go back out and reset it. It just makes the elevator come up a little bit faster, rather than waiting for it to actually come up itself. And we're going to get into a bit of a scrap here. So we get 3 guards, all of which get taken out by a PPK. Now PPK is what we call the punch kick combo that you see me doing there. So if any time we're talking about PPKs, it's basically a full combo. There's only a couple of occasions where we won't do a full combo. Most notably is the final fight. We're going to try and get him into an infinite punch combo. It's a little bit tricky to do, but when it works, Apache, it works. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like on PC, one of the real benefits of PC is there's absolutely no input delay with controllers. Whereas on the PS TV, which is what most people run the console version on, there is crazy input delay.
So I'm going to do something a little bit weird here. I've not seen people do this before, but you're meant to get a codec call on the way down on this elevator. Now I've gone crouched and activated GME, so basically technically the game says I'm out of bounds. This lets us skip the codec call entirely. It just won't even ring. You'll see my card and my chaff grenade will disappear in a couple of seconds, he says. There you go. So technically we should be in the codec call now, but we don't have to do it. We just literally skips over it. I don't know if that actually saves time. I'll be 100% honest. It probably doesn't. But I always just like to do that because I do like how it all just disappears and then all of a sudden we're at the bottom of the elevator.
I feel like in my head there's something saying there's a reason you're not supposed to do that. Like,
No, yeah.
have you done that before? And it's fine.
I only
like,
do it on that one.
Right, cool. There's something I don't know, but there's something in my brain saying you're not supposed to do that, but I could be thinking of something else. So
Yeah.
if like Vulcan Raven was purple or something, now I'd panic, but I think we're okay.
Yeah. So Raven is probably the most simple fire of them all. We activate God mode. We stand in front of him. We tell him, you know, come on, say it with chest, and we're just going to throw grenades at him. So the timing's a little bit weird because he gets iframes after every blast. So what I tend to do is I look at when the grenade reappears in Snake's hand. So when the grenade reappears in Snake's hand, I count 3 seconds, and then I throw the next one. You can look at the explosion for the grenade itself. That's another good indicator. But just to touch on what Apache was referring to there, so that little skip that I did, per se, coming down that elevator, don't do it on the second time around when you're going back with the PAL key. The reason being is that the game timer doesn't stop when you do that. So if you've got the PAL key in the frozen position / the melted position, that timer still runs. This is probably what you was thinking in your head there.
Yeah,
so
it probably is that.
I've had a run where I've got back to the PAL key input computer and it changed back to basically the base neutral version. It was it doesn't bear thinking about.
When I first got into speedrunning at all, I'd just come across different videos about speedrunning, and like one of them that I always remember is that Snake Eye Did It codec on top of the thing. I just remember watching a comparison video by a runner called Tromboncino of him doing GME2 and getting the codec, and they're the exact same speed. So you can do either one.
Is that what? Yeah, I think that's when he gets the elevator back up and running, doesn't it?
Yeah, the one when you get on top of Rex and run across it.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same speed whether you do GME or not.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I've always thought about if there's a way of, you know, skipping that cutscene, because getting to this point and getting 3 codec calls from Autocon all within the space of 15 seconds, it's like, just leave me alone, man, and let me work.
It really tries to just slow you down slightly at this point. It really does go to the effort. So we just had the PAL key, what we mentioned earlier, what the reason for all those alerts were. The PAL key has been shot out of your hand into the drainage ditch. You have to go back to the bottom of Rex's lair here. This isn't called Rex's lair, that's referred to as the top of Rex, but don't come for me, Metal Gear fans, please, I'm sorry.
It sounds like a Dark Souls area, Rex's lair.
Yeah. So we know that the PAL key is going to be in one of its positions in the drainage ditch. There's 7 positions, I think, total.
There we go.
And there's...
So I think that's position number 3, which is like, in terms of like how the best position you can get, I'm sure that one was number 3. So
yeah, it's one of the best.
Is in like the little crevice in the corner, because you can just go in, get it, come out. And then it's the next corner over, and then that one is, of course, on the way back there. So you kind of do it in like a circle motion. Counterclockwise. For like reference, we used to kill the rat to get the key, and we would hope for something called God Rat, which was very rare. But that would just be as soon as you turn to go down the stairs, he would be in front of you. That PAL key that Dan just picked up is way faster than God Rat, and like way more common as well. So it was a really good find, and basically affected everything except for rank 1 runs. I mean, even people who run the highest difficulty don't always do rank 1, so basically every single Metal Gear Solid speedrun was affected by it on both console and PC. Yeah, and it also makes the run a little bit more interesting, because if you think you've got over 2 minutes to wait in the docks area anyway, you might as well be doing something with that time. So farming 7 to 8 alerts, it just keeps the run pretty interesting instead of just kind of waiting in a corner for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it makes the start more interesting, and then it also takes the sting out of the big instance of RNG. Like me personally, I don't run many games with RNG elements in them. I prefer things that are just based on how well you can play. So it makes the run way more interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just a glutton for punishment, because, you know, all I'm saying is RE3OG in terms of like, RNG.
Yeah, I've heard it's ridiculous. And I'm not mega familiar with it, but I know they have a thing that makes the grenade launcher always spawn.
Yeah, yeah. I don't use it personally.
You are a glutton for it.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah. I'm just clearly a sadist. Alright, so I'm gonna just look at my live split here for a second. Okay, 102.49. So once we're in this area, the key will take exactly 1 minute to change shape. So my live split said I came in here at 102.49, so I need to leave here at 103.49. I'm going to leave it probably 1 or 2 seconds more, just in case I misread it. But it's literally just exactly 1 minute as soon as you hit the cold area, and 1 minute as soon as you hit the warm area. So I'm just going to GME2 here, so as soon as the timer basically runs out here, I can go straight prone and load the next area that we need to go through.
Yeah, what Dan's doing here is we picked up that PAL key. Now the key is used to deactivate Metal Gear Rex, because we have to deactivate that giant mech because it's active apparently. So there's one key which goes into 3 different computers. The first key is room temperature, which we did, but now because it's made of a memory shape alloy, to change the shape of the key we have to now cool it down, which we use this room for, and then we have to heat it up. So the key physically takes like 1 minute to change in each of those rooms, and Dan just checked the key as well, so if you look at it and it's blue, it's cold. Now he has to get back to the key room before it warms up again, which I'm sure he'll do within plenty of time. The reason he checks when he leaves is because there's nothing worse than getting to that room and then finding out it's not cold. Some runners just look at the clock and believe in it. Me personally, no matter how long I wait in that room, I still have to check.
Like I said before, and when we have to basically melt the key, so we have to make it cold and then we have to make it hot. We have to go back further to the furnace at the start of basically disc 2. So you can imagine going all the way back to that area, warming the key up, getting back all the way to Rex's lair. I'm going to keep calling it Rex's lair now, I've decided.
It's good name.
All the way back up to this computer room, and it's gone back to its original shape.
Yeah, I've seen it done. I've seen it done. It's not good. Also, if you try to put the key into the wrong computer, or you put it in while it's not the right temperature, again, the room fills with gas, and we don't die because we're invincible, but we should die if we want to get out of it.
So
Some
we're
more
basically
stormtrooper frame.
we're just doing the exact same thing again. Of we're gonna go back and warm the key up this time. So by the time we get to where we need to be, the key would have gone back to its natural state. It's room temperature green, neutral, if you want. So when we then get to the warm area, we just have to do the same thing again of waiting exactly 1 minute.
Yeah, and I mean, this is definitely put in because it's a serious gameplay mechanic, and card memory-shaped alloy cards for giant super weapons are a real thing. They definitely didn't get to this point and go, wait, we need to make the game longer.
I really do like, because I know on the Twin Snakes version, when you get to here, there's 2 pipes, isn't there? Or is it 1 pipe, 2?
Yeah, no, there's two pipes on the right side of Rex's hangar.
Yeah.
And you can shoot the pipe to do the card. You can also do it in the traditional way. But the other thing that Twin Snakes has improved is the backtracking for the sniper rifle, because you can get the PSG-1T, which is closer. So you don't have to go all the way back to the armory. So a couple of quality life changes. People have different opinions on Twin Snakes, but I think it's a very good speedrun. I will say that.
I think I just need to sit and just play it casually, to be honest. I don't think I've ever played it casually.
Compared to Metal Gear Solid 1, casually, it's a lot easier. But then the speedrun, in some ways, is a lot more difficult because of how technical it is. But they're both good games, yeah. And I think being in the Metal Gear speedrun community really changed my opinion of Twin Snakes, and I did try to speedrun it, but it's too hard.
Who's running it recently? Like, I'm sure there's some names that we know of.
Yeah, Tyler did dog tags at GDQ.
That's it. Yeah, I remember that. I was sure there was like an event or something recently where it was showcased. I mean, I just love MGS1. Like, I think MGS1's the best. Not to be confused with Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty.
I think 2's the best casually and 3's the best speedrun, but I don't know. It all depends on where you're born, right? Because if you're a boomer, you're like, no, the 2D games are the best.
Yeah, true. I mean, I get it all the time, and I'm probably going to get crucified for this, but I didn't like MGS3 when it first came out. I don't know, I think it was just because it was too big, it was too open, whereas I was used to MGS1 and 2 where it's very linear and you've got all your internal, like, you know...
Do you know they wanted to... They literally wanted to set Metal Gear Solid 1 in a jungle setting, but the problem was the limitations of the console, and they chose these environments because they were easier to load in. And,
yeah. So MGS3 is the true MGS1, that's what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. You heard it here first. But I just think 3's the best speedrun. It's just so...
It is a great speedrun, I will admit, yeah.
I just love these games. I love 1, 2, and 3. Like I play them every day. I'm not gonna rank them against each other. They're all good. If you haven't played them, please play them. They're so good.
I did look at my live split to get what time for a full minute, and I forgot. What
and then we started talking, and you forgot. Yeah, I've done it. Mate.
I'm gonna have to.
Don't risk it. Just check your card. Just check your card every now and again. It's fine.
We're playing this safe, guys. We're playing this safe.
We're not going up.
I'm getting back to that computer and it not being melted. I swear to God.
It's like you have to ride the cargo elevator, but twice, like multiple times. Can you imagine if it had like elevator music on it as well?
Oh God, that's just literally the worst kind of thing. Okay, there we go.
Where are you going, Snake? Oh, I forgot the key on there.
You just got just got liquid on the top of Rex. Like, brother, where you going? I forgot the key, mate. I'll be with you in a minute.
Yeah, you can use live split as a clock if you remember.
Sure, man. Areas like where I wouldn't mind having that area split on. So now on my splits I just have bosses for like those sections, but I wouldn't mind having the area on so it splits for just that one area. I know exactly when it's been 1 minute.
Yeah, it just splits to leave the room now. I think you're getting some issues on your end, Danny. You good?
Oh yes, mine's gone red for some reason. Yeah, I've got dropping frames left, right, and centre.
No.
I'm not quite sure why.
I was gonna watch it on the stream, see how it's coming out.
Yeah. I'm getting 2,000 kilobytes a second. Oh no, we're going.
Wow, it's affecting your speedrun.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are just having a... I hope it's not my issues now and again, so please... Saying that, my internet issues is that it just shut that we're still technically streaming is fine, so I'm not too... So we're just going to start it actually sorts itself out before the final boss fight. I'll need to see that final boss fight properly.
Which you always make errors on, right?
What, me personally, or...?
Yeah.
Yeah, close, yeah. You get the double throw, and then, you know, the pa.
I've done it twice in marathon, and both times, the first time I did it, I nearly died to the fight, and it was.
Glad to see my first run of doing this, mate. I'm sure it was like 22, 23.
Yeah, it feels so unfair the first time you do it. And then when you actually like watch the tutorial and how the phases work, you're like, oh right, I get it.
We're coming back up now, 7 seconds. I'm
I
hoping.
need to reset your stream.
I'm just dropping frames. I do apologise why this is happening. If it's RTMP side or anything. Okay, so a little bit of. Oh no. I wanna. So we used the PAL key 3 times. Activate Rex. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. We actually activate Liquid.
Oh, no.
Rings us to basically. And tries to kill us very slowly. He took his shirt off for some reason. But he's going to get in Rex now that we've activated him. So we're setting ourselves up there way, so we're going to basically manipulate. It keeps the radome if they have to aim anywhere. So we can just aim in one spot and keep firing every so often with his guns. Or he's going to use that bottom left. And there's phase 1 done. Our weapons are hotkeys. Normally we'd be in with our stinger, but because we can chaff grenade on, I kind of stay and just fly. Oh, we're back in the yellow now. We're back in the yellow, and we stopped dropping frames, so we're back on track. Green. We're back in the green. Apologies, I'm colour deficient over here, you know.
I love this one. We can just like float in the air. It's great.
Oh, that's a Nikita snake. You don't want that. But same kind of thing again, sit in a specific position. We're going to use gun mode to make ourselves invincible and just fire stingers at Liquid's face. For a bipedal nuclear tank, it really is susceptible to casual weapons, really. And that's the Rex fight. Now, for some reason, Liquid is still alive, despite taking 20 missiles to the face.
The PC port is it's a port of MGS1, the integral version, which was like the re-release of the console version. And there's a cutscene with Liquid called the Sleeping Late as Usual Snake. It's like 2 minutes cutscene. They only allowed you to skip that in integral, so you can skip it on the PC version. Otherwise, we would have to literally sit here and listen to Liquid chat on.
Babylon, yeah. So we're going to get into the final fight here, final boss fight. So it's a hand-to-hand fight with Liquid. We're going to get into a bit of an infinite punch combo here. So I'll let Apache kind of explain it whilst I get into position.
Yeah, do you do 2-throw setup?
2-throw setup, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so yeah, you have to fight Liquid. No matter what version of the game you play on, you're going to have to do this fight at the end here with Liquid. And what we can do is we can infinitely do a punch combo to him. It's dependent on his position, and we tried to set up that position at the start, but if we don't get him into that position using throws, we'll have to go to like a backup where we will kind of punch him and make him move around the arena until we can try and set up this punch combo, because as I say, it doesn't work from all positions. So here we go, and you have to punch at a certain rhythm, which will keep Liquid completely locked in. As I say, it isn't just something that you can just walk up and get. I was joking with him before. I fail it every time at Marathon. It's very, very difficult to do. But it was actually teased inside. There was like videos of the devs playing, and you could see them literally doing this to Liquid. So it was intended. So it's not just those speedrunners doing these glitches to the fight. It is actually an intended way. So the game just becomes like Tekken for a little bit. So we got him here nicely.
A bit earlier.
With Liquid as well, in order to finish the fight, once you have him, once you've drained all his health, you do still have to kick him off the top. So you can't just end the fight with a punch. So if he's in certain spots on the map, you can't actually end the fight until you've manipulated him to an edge.
Oh no. I'm trying.
You can do it.
Oh come on, are you serious? He's probably like 1 frame away from falling off there.
So as you see, when he knocks him down, Liquid just repeatedly get his health back. Dan was also 1 hit from death, and I didn't want to draw attention to him.
I saw it just getting drained. Like, oh, this is not going to end well. Also, yes, we've saved Meryl as well. So Meryl actually helps us out and is our driver for the escape here. Rest in peace, Otacon. We barely knew you.
Yeah, no, he does survive no matter what. Like in the story, like I always say, it's like kill Meryl or Otacon, but Otacon will survive no matter what. So only Meryl that dies. But still sad that we don't get to escape with Otacon because Otacon's our boy. A lot of people think this section of the game is like an auto scroller, but it's actually not. It's like anything but an auto scroll. Like I thought it didn't matter what you did to Liquid or what you did. Obviously you have to shoot the barrels to get through each section, but on each difficulty, Liquid has like a certain amount of health, so you have to push him into each different phase in order to get out the escape fast. Dan was looking to the right there, so when the car spun in, he was already aiming at the barrel. It's like a setup that we always do. That was a nice fast first checkpoint.
The first one's always pretty simple. It's the second one that's a bit of a pain there. It makes it even worse that every time we take damage, we kind of have this like animation of Snake like being pushed backwards, and it throws our aim completely off. That's also why I get the 2 rations there, just in case, because if we die at this point, we have to do the whole section again. Of course, we don't want to do that. So this is a rather interesting part on this fight with Liquid here, is we kind of want to aim away from him, then aim at him, which will cause him to swerve.
Yeah, if you just stick your gun on Liquid, he will just duck under and avoid your shots. So you have to keep like swinging in and out with the gun in order to hit him. But Dan's doing a good job here hitting him so far. Each time like the camera changes, you know that the phase has changed, and between the phases you can get additional shots on him if you're fast enough. And again, those transition shots are the key to really speeding up this fight. I'm not sure exactly the number of hits he takes, but there is a tutorial for the escape fight by Plywood on YouTube that will tell you exactly how many times you hit him and the best way to do it. But yeah, not an auto scroller. You can do this way faster than I do it.
Okay, here we go. So we're in like the final phase here. I didn't get any extra hits on him, which is going to slow me down a little bit, but this one's the easiest. We just have to aim in one specific spot there, and we can just leave it and just fire. He'll always go back to that same spot.
Yeah, time is coming up on the whiteout. No, it's not. It's on the score screen. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
What am I talking? Just ignore me.
We are coming up on time, but there's still a couple of seconds left. So I'll give you guys a shout. And that's Liquid, yeah, and that is the end of the game. We were literally we're coming to the final boss, which is skipping cutscenes and codec calls, because we don't care about people.
And the PC version has the best change ever, allowing you to instantly skip into the credits. You instantly skip the credits into the score screen, because we use the score screen to time all our games.
And where is it? It's coming. It's time. So 124, which isn't too bad, all considered.
Yeah, well done, mate. Some quality fights in there.
Yeah, and we also saved Meryl as well, which is something I never do, because, like Apache said, it's a lot quicker for us to save Otacon and just submit straight away on the torture rather than going through two rounds of it. So, yeah, it's just. And we get the bandana there, which gives us infinite ammo if you're playing this casually. If you save Mel, you get the bandana for infinite ammo. But if you save Otacon, you get the stealth camouflage, which basically turns you invisible. So you kind of want to play it through a couple of times and get both items, and then on a New Game Plus file, you're basically unstoppable. But that was Metal Gear Solid 1. All bosses normal.
Thank you very much for that. That was a really entertaining run. Any shout outs or anything like that before we?
Yeah, just a quick one. What a shout out Apache Smash on comms with me. He literally dropped in last minute. I put a message out last night saying if anyone wants to do comms, let me know. And he shouted me just before the run and said, yeah, I'll do it. So yeah, shout out to Apache and also to the rest of the Metal Gear speedrunning community, and also to the Devil May Cry speedrunning community for my run last night as well. Both of those communities, if you ever want to speedrun these games, they really are just great. nothing but helpful, nothing but supportive the entire way. So yeah, just gotta give credit to those guys. And also, if you're interested in seeing other things like this, feel free. You can follow me on Twitch at DanSpence94 and Apache at Apache Smash. We both run Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. I run Devil May Cry 1, 3, and 5, Resident Evil, Majora's Mask, a whole bunch of different stuff. And Apache Smash as well. He runs, I think, Metal Gear 1, 2, 3. Do you do 4?
No, absolutely not. But I do 1, 2, and 3. I mostly play 3.
Oh, absolutely never. But yeah, give Apache Smash a follow as well. And just it's always a good time showing these games off. They're really cool to do so.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for both of your runs. They were really good. So we're going to take a short 10-minute break now, and then after that we will be back with Morfeld running Good Job.